Shoretrade. What is it? I'll find out after this when I speak with Peter Manettas from Manettas Seafood, who has started a new company called Shoretrade and raised $2 million to disrupt an antiquated industry. Peter Manettas, thanks very much for joining me.
Thanks, Dane.
So, this new system, Shoretrade, why have you gone down this path? What did you see that needed? Because when someone starts something, there's always a problem, and when you create something, it's to solve that problem. So, what have you seen as the problem, and what is the solution?
Yeah, Dan, we obviously saw the supply chain as being quite a lengthy process in the fishery space, and we also saw a lack of transparency of where the product was coming from. There were a lot of problems that we were trying to solve, one being transparency, one being shortening the supply chain, one being trying to put more money back into the industry, and getting the product to the end user a lot faster. I mean, I believe our system kind of oversees all those aspects quite well.
Right. So how the platform, it will enable your business, Manettas Seafood, that goes straight from the fisher to the consumer. This system...
Yeah.
Sorry, what was it?
No, continue on. That's fine.
This system will enable a business-to-business type structure.
Yeah, Shoretrade was built as a business-to-business structure for industry only. Shoretrade was built for the industry. We actually obviously built the technology on our behalf for the fishing industry. But obviously we're not traders within the program. Set up for a fisherman to actually have an account, be able to control his own inventory, be able to set his own prices, and allow us to connect them with multiple buyers all over the country and not just within their regions. The most important thing that we've seen with Shoretrade is that there is hunger within the industry to constantly looking for new products or new avenues to obtain product. One of the big things that we've seen is why would we limit to a small amount of buyers in an auction process rather than a huge amount of buyers through new age technology?
Right. So will you be able to put any products on this market? So what are the restrictions when using it?
Yeah, we're pretty selective on our behalf. I mean, quality is the key to ensuring that the program works well. When you actually sign up as a seller on Shoretrade, you aren't able to sell straight away. You actually go into a 24-hour pending period. My team receives information about your company registering interest to sell with us. We, at that point, do our due diligence on your company, due diligence on your fishery, due diligence on the boats, all that kind of thing, ensure that the licensing is all correct all the way through, and then authorize the account to start selling. It's really important that we've got that process so that we rule out any untoward behaviour that's going to happen on the platform. This is very much a professional platform for the industry and needs to be respected that way. And the only way that we can do that is doing our due diligence on the seller's behalf.
So you do your due diligence beforehand, but will there be a rating system? And will the rating system be for both buyer and seller to rate both sides?
That's correct, yeah. Look, the industry is unique in that people do say things they sometimes don't mean, or play games with product to try and get things cheaper. The rating process is obviously in the system. Any ratings that are below, 3 stars, we have notifications set up on our behalf to follow up there. Not only are the buyers able to rate the sellers, but the sellers are able to rate the buyers. Now, if we start to see war of attrition on this, Shoretrade's terms and conditions state that we can step in and change those ratings if we want. And Shoretrade's terms and conditions also state that if there is untoward behaviour happening in a situation like that, that the person will be removed from the platform. We know how powerful this platform is going to be, and we know how many avenues it's going to open up for buyers across the country. It's a privilege to be buying through Shoretrade. It will be a privilege to be able to be connected in that sense. If you are connected in that way and you are going to, not abide by the rules that we set, then we have no qualms in removing you from the platform. We're taking a very, very strong line on this from day one.
Yeah, well, it's important that quality and professionalism is maintained throughout the whole system. So how will the payment system work? So fishers will have concerns, of course, over, okay, am I going to send my product and then just not be paid, or is there a backup system that ensures that?
So your product isn't sent out until it's been purchased. The bottom line is that if a person purchases your product through the platform, we have received payment for it. Everything that is sold through the platform, where you get a notification as being sold, we have secured the payment. T's and C's show that we secure every shipment that is sent out from your fishery or your location. We secure payment against all of it. The money in an escrow during the shipment, and then once the delivery is actually shipped and arrived at the buyer's side, payment is released to the seller. So if you're in Queensland, product from New South Wales, and it's being shipped out the next day, once the shipment arrives the next day, we transfer the money across. We're transferring money 5 days a week, Monday to Friday. Any shipments that are made on those days, the money gets transferred out straight away.
Right. So,
everyone can rest assured that we are securing all purchases through the system. There will be no shipments that are sent out and attached to them.
Right. So with a lot of things that with product, right? If you are selling a certain product and a buyer, one problem that may creep up, and you may have thought of it already, is that a buyer decides after they've bought the product that they don't want to necessarily go through with it because they've found something better, and they then look at the product and say, oh, that wasn't actually what I wanted. What happens in that case? Like, oh, it's smaller than you said it was, or something like that. What happens in that case?
There's a few scenarios there. First one being if a buyer purchases and then realizes they don't want it, very similar to the way that eBay works. Once you've purchased, and that transaction's happened. At that point, you'd need to contact the Shoretrade team, and we will work a solution here. To be honest, it's pretty much stated that once you hit purchase, that purchase is made, and regardless what happens, you need to take that product. We've obviously got the payment for it, so that product will be shipped out as normal. A short period of time, within 5 minutes of doing the transactions, we probably could work a solution. We're going to be fair and reasonable in whichever way possible, but we are realistic about people trying to purchase to hedge their bets. if the product arrives and it's they're unhappy with the quality, I mean, I always turn around and I go, it's in every fisher's best interest that they send the highest grade product available that they can out, quality product available they can out. Number one, they're gonna get more followers in the system. They're going to get hot system. You're going to see from day one that the fishers that have the higher ratings are the ones that are going to be followed by hotels, restaurants, chefs all over the country. They're going to get their branding out there. They're going to get their names out there. So, and there's been issues along the way with the logistics. Fine. Shoretrade warrants and insures all that product from the moment it leaves your door. If the product was packed, and we can track back, obviously, all the temperature controls that happened all the way through every step of the logistics program. If we kind of go, yes, look, there's no major issue there. It's had temperature control all the way through. We'll talk to the buyer, we'll talk to the seller, and we'll make a decision about what happens there.
Right. You just mentioned having followers. It sounds like you've created this platform as a social media like thing where you can actually get followed so that they can get notifications when you have product on the market. Is that right?
Yeah, one of the really great features on the program is that if you send out a great shipment of product, a person can turn around and follow you as a fisherman through the app. What happens at that point is every time after that you list a product on the program or try to sell a product on a program, it will automatically send a notification out to those buyers that follow you. That will mean that over time, if you build your brand and build your following, through great shipments all the way through, that you'll list product and it will be sold almost immediately because you're going to slowly build more and more of these followers. People have the ability to follow fishermen. People have the ability to follow fishermen just fishing for a specific product.
Yep.
And people have the ability also just to follow fisheries. So they could turn around and say, I want to know when Bob catches anything. He's always bringing in the best stuff. I want to know when he catches anything, and I want to be notified. Or I want to know only when Bob catches prawns because they're the prawns that I really want week in, week out. But it does put a lot of emphasis on fishermen building their brand in the industry, and it's something that's lost at the moment because the product may go through an auction process into a large or a medium-sized wholesaler after that. At that point, lost. From there on, it's back on the wholesaler's back. Now, we're going to be able to achieve higher prices for people in the industry if we can build brands for them as well.
Yeah, definitely. So with the delivery system, you've had your stuff packed and it's gone on the truck. Now, what insurance is there for the fisher who's given that responsibility for the product and put that responsibility into the hands of this truck driver? What ensures that product's safety?
Once the product leaves the fisher's hands into that truck, we hold insurance on that product now every step of the way until it reaches a buyer. So if that product is of high quality when that fisher puts it on the truck, it is then insured from our end all the way through till the end supply. If the product goes missing, it's on Shoretrade's back. If the product ends up in the wrong location, that's on Shoretrade's back. It will not stop a fisher being paid. That's the one thing that we are making very clear to everyone is that we insure that product every step of the way. And there are words going around at the moment about our temperature controls and things like that, but a complete technology that is going to ensure that product and ensure that temperature control occurs every step.
Right. So that was another thing. it's with this sort of technology, it enables other things that fishermen haven't been used to in the past. So can they, with this system, can they track their prices from start to finish with the different species they've sold, and how long will they be able to see that for?
Mm-hmm. So they can, in their seller section of their application, they'll be able to see all their current sales, and they're also able to see their current sales on different species that they're selling, all graphed and quite easily to view for them, so they can see how the sales are going. They can also see where the sales are occurring. More so, I think one of the really exciting features is not only are they able to look at their sales of their products, but based on those products, they're then able to look at sales of products like theirs in other parts of Australia as well. So they're able to see an entire market data without anyone else's names attached to them, just products. What sort of prices products like theirs are achieving in other parts of Australia as well. What it will allow them to do is to turn around and say, okay, I sold my product today for $19 a kilo in New South Wales. However, a product like mine in South Australia was achieving 25. Next week, I'm going to list my product at 24, and I'm going to really target that South Australian market. And you can see how things play out. I mean, it's a supply and demand industry. The supply is large in New South Wales. It's not large in South Australia or even Melbourne. So you are able to achieve higher prices and you're not even aware that you're able to do it. What Shoretrade attempts to do on this front is to level the playing field a little bit. The playing field is very much a Sydney market. It's very much not only a Sydney market, it's very much a monopolised market. And I think that what we're going to be able to do here is achieve some higher prices for products and still get it to the end user cheaper.
Right. All right. Well, we might finish up after this last question. Fisheries requirement by fisheries is to have a license to sell your product, so a restricted fish receiver or a registered fish receiver.
Yeah.
Now, how does the invoicing work? Will it be like the Sydney markets where any fisherman can sell to the Sydney fish markets? They just invoice the Sydney fish markets and then the product is sold and it's all dealt with like that? Or is every fisherman going to have to have a double RFR to be able to use this platform?
No, the fishers won't have to have a double RFR. We're actually currently in discussions with the federal government about this and state government, to be honest with you. We have been supported very heavily from departments in these kind of industries where they're setting some things up for us that are going to be new and unique as well. But in the initial stages, yes, we will hold those RFRs. Fishers will be able to sell direct. We are in that process at the moment, so everything should be ready to go prior to launch of the program. I should also say, Dane, if I can just make a quick comment here, there are a lot of people talking out there about what we're currently doing at the moment, and make it very clear that we're not in this to change an industry, crazily. We kind of feel that the industry needed to be balanced out a lot more and needed to be the supply chain needed to be simplified. We kind of saw certain companies trying to monopolise things the way that they've been done previously. Now, we still believe that there is a need for a market auction, especially in the Sydney market. We kind of see that as moving towards more and more of of a clearance auction. Being able to push your product through there if you can't get the prices that you really want to in other parts of Australia, or haven't been able to find that buyer. We really feel that the industry could benefit quite heavily, and from having two companies, kind of operating independently of each other, really does keep everyone a lot more honest. And that's something that I think the industry has needed for a long time. And in talking to fishers within the industry, I mean, that's the general consensus we're getting. We are going to keep people honest all the way through. This program was built by fishermen for fishermen. It was built by the industry for the industry. There was no other reason for us to do it. We do have some extremely large suppliers across Australia, and we will be pushing the program itself across other countries as well in the near future. So we're excited to showcase the program, but just want to make it very clear, whatever backlash is, coming out and people are saying, whatever they do, we are actually here to help level the playing field more than anything. That's what the program has been built for.
All right. So when's the launch date?
Middle of January. I'd really like to obviously take you through a full demonstration on your cast. Get a whole lot of people commenting and logging on and seeing what they think of it as well. Yeah. And obviously we'll take all that feedback and we can make some changes from there too.
Excellent. And any consumers that want to buy through Manettas, what's the web address?
Yeah, so Manettas for the B2C stuff is manettas.com.au. It's getting into Christmas, so it's always going to be a busy period for Manettas. But look, I think our entire team's focus at the moment is all on Shoretrade. So
yeah. Excellent. Well, thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. That was Peter Manettas from Manettas Seafood and also Shoretrade. I will keep you posted on that endeavour as it progresses. And make sure you all buy local. You can head over to my YouTube channel to subscribe. I post my videos there as well. Also on Facebook, if you'd kindly share. And there are many other videos that I've posted that you can look at on YouTube and Facebook. So I will see you all in the next one.